What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to WeSibs, West Coast, East Coast siblings. I just finished the season finale, episode 10 of Raised by Wolves on HBO Max. A lot went down, guys. This is definitely a 2-season show. They set it up like that. We're going to talk about everything. This is going to be your recap, your reaction, your review, biggest takeaways, all rolled into one video. So go ahead, grab a snack, sit back, hit the subscribe button, like, and the bell. Let's get into it. So guys, this is how we're going to break the show down. First, I'm going to talk about the show as a whole, how I enjoyed it. Then we're going to talk about Marcus, Paul, and the new people, followed by Kepler-22b, the planet, then Soul, and then we're going to finish it off, of course, with the baby. So jumping right into it, I thought the show was really good. Obviously, the production quality was great. It was awesome to just watch visually, the special effects and stuff like that. I also thought it touched on some great themes. At what point does belief become religious? At what point do feelings, even though they're synthetic and programmed, when do they become validated? So all of these things were great discussion topics that surrounded the show throughout the entire season. And yes, although the deaths were very repetitive and almost never final, yes, I'm talking about you, Father, they still managed a way to make you feel the gravity of the situation and the real life and death consequences of the actions of the group. So yes, definitely worth watching, definitely worth a second season. We'll talk more about that in the prediction section of this video. But from there, this episode takes place in this barren kind of forest wasteland in which the baby is supposed to be born. Mother is just getting this feeling that this is the place. She's seen it in the vision. This is the place where the baby is to be born. Okay, so starting off with the biggest takeaway, number one, we have Marcus, Paul, and the new people. So Marcus, we knew wasn't going to die. We talked about this in the last episode. Nobody really bought his death. We knew that Soul was probably going to bring him back, as he did. That's how they kicked the entire episode off. And from there, he begins a journey to find his son, Paul. I think he's assuming that he's going to do whatever it takes to get his son, including killing Sue. So what's interesting is that Soul is also reaching out to Paul. So you got a father-son type of thing going on here. I'm still not really convinced that Marcus is necessarily the chosen one. I know he has said that, but now both of them are hearing this voice of Soul. Perhaps it could apply to both of them. Perhaps it's some sort of lineage, but that remains to be seen definitely in the second season. So Marcus, before he finally gets to Paul, he meets a new group of people who have sent down a search party. They dress in all black, and they've got a huge ship above, and they claim on the radio after Marcus jacks up that search team that they saw their ship crash. So they were probably not too far off in the distance watching all of this happen. So what does this mean? This means that other ships survived the journey from Earth. There could be several out there. This is the one that we are seeing now. And you know what? I think it can get a little too crowded maybe for season 2 because you've got some other things that the group definitely has to worry about. We'll talk about that later. But this new group of people definitely represents a threat to our small group, especially as they are unaware of anything that is going on Kepler-22b. And from there, yes, let's talk about Kepler-22b. So it's discovered after an attack on Mother while she's standing by one of the pits that there are creatures, beings, humans on Kepler-22b that have devolved over time. Devolved. So they look similar to those four-footed creatures. And now I'm starting to wonder, so these creatures, the four-footed ones, their faces seem to resemble that of a human. There's just something there. And kudos to Ridley Scott. He's been doing alien movies. He's dealt with this kind of material for years and years and years. So he's very good at that. So I'm wondering if the four-legged creatures and these devolved humans are one and the same, but that the creatures are just further along in that de-evolution process as they both have blood. Their skin texture is very similar. Now, could that be due to the process of dealing with the radiation on Kepler-22b? Who knows? But I think that would be a theory I would put forward. So also with Kepler-22b, we find some hieroglyphics in a cave. Paul discovers them while trying to catch mouse. He ran off. And they seem to show or illustrate the journey that mother and father took with the embryos, as well as some other things, including a giant snake, which we'll get to later in this episode. So this raises a whole bunch of questions. Number one, has this been done before? Could it not even be father and mother? Or could it be some kind of fortune telling by some sort of being? Could it be soul? And from there, obviously, let's dive into Soul. So we thought we were going to get a big reveal. I thought we were going to get a big reveal as to who or what Soul is. As he seems to be able to reach out and speak into people's minds, mainly Marcus and Paul, leading them to do some insane things. Even Paul shooting his own, well, what he thought was his own mother. They seem to be presenting Soul as a creature with an insane amount of knowledge, as he knows what was going on Earth before they even got there. Remember, the whole face swap thing happened on planet Earth. So it's not only the knowledge of what was happening on Earth, but possibly even the ability to travel vast distances from Earth to Kepler 22b, as obviously he was the god of the Mithraic people on Earth. Unfortunately, we didn't get that reveal. So again, throwing another thing into season 2, I think season 2 could get really crowded very quickly, as there are a lot of things that they're going to have to explain. Now, in addition to these other abilities, Soul is also working his agenda to bring Mother to term so that she has her baby. She gets Paul to shoot Sue, and is told Marcus on several occasions to kill Sue, as Sue seems to be a threat to Soul's plan, which was having the baby. We'll get to that in a second. So at this point, you'd be very hard-pressed to make a solid argument as to why the birth of this baby is not part of Soul's agenda and something that he was trying to bring about. With that being said, let's get into just that, the baby. Well, to be frank, the baby is not a baby. It's actually a giant snake. Well, it wasn't giant when it was born, but it grew very rapidly. This thing is an organic and synthetic hybrid serpent creature. Ridley Scott for you. No, honestly, when they were born, I was really thinking of Alien versus Predator with those mouth face hugger things. Nightmare fuel. Definitely wasn't expecting that. We had talked about a human-android hybrid creature. This was not that. So thankfully, it doesn't seem too aggressive, at least not toward Mother and Father, even though Father is not his father. Mother obviously senses that this thing is a threat to human life, and they can't just throw it down a pit. So they decide, her and Father, to jump down one of the pits, holding the snake, or, having it in one of the landers, and just shooting that thing down into the center of the earth.
Hey guys, Editor Chris here for a second. One huge thing that I missed about these snakes is that the size of them is perfect for making those holes that we've seen all over Kepler 22b, leading me to think that something like this has happened many times. It seems that maybe they just need an upgraded version, one with a couple cybernetic enhancements, maybe to deal with the humans and the creatures.
So I predicted this in the last episode. Father was going to die again. Ridiculous. This time with Mother, but once again, it is a fake death. Father doesn't die. Nobody ever really dies in this show. But yet, why does it feel so real every time? I feel like a sucker, honestly, because every time Father or Mother is about to die, I'm really like, okay, this is the last time. And then thinking that, I start to, feel it. And then they're like, nope, they're alive again. And I feel like a sucker. So yeah, Mother and Father are alive because for some reason, the snake creature is aware of how to fly planes without hands or anything. He just shoots the ship, which, by the way, is intense as it can survive the temperatures of the core of a planet. Don't know how that works, but the ship flies right back out into the tropical zone. That's where they end up. That's where I'm assuming, because it's a place with rich vegetation, obviously far away from where Campion and the rest of the group are. I think they're in the tropical zone. This is a good thing, because when that snake busts out of that ship, it's huge. I mean, this thing is gigantic, like bigger than a tree, at least from that last frame that we saw. So it's good that this thing is as far away as possible from those kids, as they would be dead very soon. At the same time, again, it doesn't seem very aggressive, at least not toward non-organic beings. But that ultimately remains to be seen, as he is going to come into contact very soon with humans, whether it be Campy and Paul and the group, or these new people in the ship that are sending down these search parties. So finally, let's talk about some predictions for season 2. So obviously, this has got to get a season 2. It's a pretty popular show. There's nothing saying that it won't get renewed. So assuming that it has a season 2, I would expect More death from father and possibly mother. That turns out to not be real death. That's a given. No, but some real things. Expect Marcus and Paul to possibly be setting up a dynasty through Soul with that serpent thing as their enforcer. So something more powerful than a necromancer, something more powerful than possibly anything that we've seen introduced in the show, including those ships. That snake can fly, and it's huge. I'm assuming it can withstand space travel, as it withstood pretty easily, at least as far as we could see, the temperatures of the core of a planet. Maybe deep space is no problem for it too. So definitely a formidable creature, and it seems to be the plan, the will, the agenda of Soul to have this creature, and Paul and Marcus are also in his corner. So I think that's going to be the new dominating power, even over the new people arriving to Kepler 22b. Campion and the rest of the group, they seem like small fish right now. At the end of the day, they're all human. Even, Paul, he's probably going to join up with his dad as he's alienated now from Sue, his mother, and even he's got that enhancement with the voice of Soul. So everybody else is just human, and without any kind of protection, Mother will probably go back and protect them. She's a necromancer, so she'll help protect them from the new arrivals, as well as maybe this new snake creature. But without her and Father, they are sitting ducks. They're completely outnumbered, completely outgunned. They're all human. Another prediction, Kepler 22b is obviously going to be filled with people very soon, as there's an entire ship that's going to be coming down soon. I don't think that they're going to do the same thing where Mother or even the snake creature just goes up and jacks up the ship as they did the first time, although they have been pretty repetitive at times, so I wouldn't put it past them. No, I think they're going to go in a new direction. They're going to expand the world. This reminds me a little bit, I don't know why, of The Walking Dead, in which very quickly they realized that they wanted to expand the world with different communities and stuff like that, because a bigger world leads to more story potential. So by expanding the world, they're going to have more people for that snake creature to jack the mess out of, in crazy ways that they'll probably blow a huge special effects budget on. But yeah, so those are the predictions I would think going forward. I think that the Ragtag Gang with Campion, they're going to stick together. Mother and Father are going to return and help them navigate this new world that's expanding very quickly. Paul and Marcus setting up the dynasty with the snake creature, and obviously the arrival of the new people, the new ship onto Kepler 22b, and they will try to take over. So with that being said, an amazing season. Can't wait for season 2. Let me know what you thought of the season, of the show, of any aspect of the show down in the comments below. I'll be chatting it up with you guys for several days after this is uploaded. So let me know. If you're looking for more HBO Max to watch, Third Day is being covered here on this channel as well by my sister. So check out those videos. Links to everything will be in the description. If you're looking for something else to get into, we got tech, sports, and more TV shows over on our sister channel, the Lotta Quente Ledger. Awesome content. My own show, The Granted Geek Show, where I talk tech and video games, is over there. So check that out. We got a lot of content for you. Thank you guys. It's been an awesome ride. Don't forget to like the video if you're liking the video, subscribe, and click that bell so that you don't miss. Hit the mic. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.